Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanting to kind of finish up at least the part we're going to do of topic 12 this year, using percents. This is a peek into percents. We will do more later. You will use them for a million things in your life. But this is just a little peek, a little get started with percents. Starting with, to be honest, what does that word mean? Percent means per 100. So if I got 81% on my test, okay, there's one that you guys are used to hearing, 81 per 100. It is a comparison of the part I got right and the whole that was available. That is all a percent is or has ever been. Okay, there are three main methods to find a percent. Okay, this first one, I would say, is probably the one I use the most often, depending on the problem. And this one I like to call translate. We're going to take words or even symbols and translate them into a calculation. So for example, 22% of 150 is what? Okay, very simple. If it was a story problem, it would be more complicated. Well, 22% of 150 equals something. So how do we translate that into a calculation? Well, 22%, because I know that that's 22 over 100, is 22 hundredths. Of, most of the time when you see of in a math sentence, it means multiply. 150 equals, okay, and you can just go right over here and go 150.22, 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 5, 2, 2 times 0 is 5, 0, 0, 3, 3. I know there's 2 decimal places. Boom. So my answer is 33. 22% of 150 is 33. Okay? Well, what if I know the percentage and I maybe know what I paid, but I don't know what the original was? Okay? So we're going to look at that one. In this case, we're going to say 55% of something is 22. %55 is also 55 hundredths times, and I'm just going to use x for a variable. You could use n. Okay. Now, I can show you algebraically, but we're honestly running out of room. Right now, we have a number multiplied to the variable. In order to, in order to change those, okay, we need to do the inverse operation, which would be to divide. So we're going to divide by 0.55. So I'm going to divide that by 0.55. I'm going to divide this by 0.55, and this is solving it algebraically. X, the amount I didn't know, is equal to 40. And if you think about it, 55% is just a little more than half, right? So 55% of 40, well, it's got to be more than 20, is 22. Okay, there are a lot of ways to figure these out. I just wanted to give this specific method as an example. Now, let's look at another method. This method uses ratios, and I'm going to use the same problems, and we're going to use ratios to solve them instead. Okay, so a ratio is part versus whole. Okay, so we said 22 hundredths, that was 22%, right? Is what part of the total 150? You can think of a lot of things, but the first thing I see is, man, I could simplify this. 11/50ths is the same as how many 150ths? Oh, well, 50 times 3 is 150. 11 times 3 is 33. Does that match the same answer we got up there? Yeah. So if the numbers are nice round numbers, 50s, 10s, 100s, using a ratio can be an excellent tool. Okay. Let's look at the other one, done in a ratio method. Part, whole. So this one's saying 55 parts of 100. That's 55%. Okay. Is the same as 22 out of, we don't know. Okay. We don't know what the original total was. Now, when I look at this ratio, I see a 55 and I see a 22 and I think, ooh, I could find an 11, I bet you, in there that's good to work with. So let's look. If I divide this by 5, I get 11. If I divide this by 5, I get 20. So see how knowing your equivalent ratios can save you from long division, tedious multiplication. Okay, so all that time that people act like that they're afraid of fractions, you don't need to be. These fractions are simplifying your life. They're making things easier for you if you can recognize the number values. Okay, now the last one I want to show you is the one we use most often at school, I would say. And I mostly wanted to show it to you because it's helpful to you. So this is the one I would use for scores. So let's say I got 17 out of 20 on a quiz. Okay? There are two ways you could solve this. You could say 17 out of 20 is the same as whatever out of 100. And you would find that number up there would be your percent. Okay? Or the other method you could use, and I especially use this when it's not nice round ones like 20, when I give you a quiz that's out of 13 or something crazy. Okay? You just divide. You know that you can turn a decimal or a fraction to a decimal simply by dividing. Well, let's figure it out. 20 doesn't fit in 17. 2 But can 20 fit into 170? Sure. Okay, so how many times? Well, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160. Oh, let's try 8. Now, I purposely showed it to you that way because I wanted to show you that it's okay to think the way you think. Now subtract. 20 fits into 100 5 times. 0.85 equals 85%. 85 hundredths. 85 per 100. 85%. Okay. Now, I'm going to have you guys play with some of these on try problems, and I can't wait to see you in class.